My 10% thing happening is that the Patriots hold Tyreek Hill to under
Okay.
100 yards. That
Oh,
is my
no
10%.
faith.
I don't see it happen. He's getting at least 100 yards. You will see.
Welcome back to the Old Bull and Young Calf Boston Sports Podcast. My name is Matt, and this is my dad, Steve. And you got to stop right there. You're going to want to at least watch the first segment and at least the last one. So my dad's going to go over the 5 things we're going to hit on today. We're going to start with some fun, end with some fun, with a bunch of analysis in the middle. Dad, what do we got for him?
Yes. So what we're going to hit on today are we came up with a power ranking as far as teams that are 2-0 and 0-2. Are they for real? Are they phonies? We're going to give our thoughts on that. Of course, we're going to touch on that painful, awful Miami game, which once again, the measurement of an inch factored into the Patriots losing. And then we're going to hit on number 3, which is this game coming up? Is it a must win? Is the season literally over if the Patriots lose this upcoming game? And then we're also going to have our bet from our bet expert, find out how he did last night, who he likes this week. And then, of course, we're going to end the segment with our fun little 90, 50, 10 segment where the old bull um, struggled a little bit in the mud. And he's going to redeem himself this week, though, because my prediction is going to be much better. So start us off, Matt.
Okay, so we're going to jump right into that interactive segment here. We have our tier list. You probably see this on TikTok or Instagram. We're bringing it to the podcast here. We're going to split these 2-0 NFL teams into where we believe they fall in the season, like where the Super Bowl contender, division contender, wild card team, pretender, or complete trash. And that trash column is brought to you by my dad. So I'm sure he has somebody in mind for that. So we'll start it off with the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy, solid defense, pretty good weapons. George Kittle, I think, is a bit of a shell of himself. I think they're a Super Bowl contender, Dad, but I'm willing to go division contender if you want.
Their team is so good that even with Purdy, who I feel is still like an average quarterback, they're a Super Bowl contender because the talent around him is so good. And that conference is the bottom of our list. It is trash. That conference is terrible. Really, the Eagles are the only other team in that division I feel like can give them a run. So by default, almost, if they were in the AFC, I feel like they'd be a division
Yeah.
contender. But being in the NFC, definitely Super Bowl contender.
They could be there at the end. And we'll move right into the winningest division. We'll start off with the Bucks here. There's 3 teams in this division right now that are 2-0, which is pretty insane. The Bucks, in my opinion, uh, Baker Mayfield will taper out. I think that they're going to be a wild card team. I think the Saints are going to be better. We'll get to the Saints at the end. What do you think, Dad? After 2 weeks, where do you think they fall?
I think they're pretenders.
Oh wow,
And the
okay,
only reason why, yeah, just complete pretenders. Their defense is really good, but I am not a Baker Mayfield believer at all. And yeah, just without Tom Brady there, we all know things are going to be run a little looser. And yeah, I
yep,
know they're 2-0, but I'm not impressed by either one of those wins. By the end of the year, they're going to be a middling team at best,
yeah,
and their division is garbage. Garbage, and
yep,
I still don't see them. Even if they somehow win it, they're going nowhere. Out in the
yeah.
first round.
The only reason I would say wild card is because, like you said, the conference kind of sucks, and I don't know who in the conference is going to be, which 7 teams going to be better. But I'm down to put in pretender. Next up is Washington. I think this is a pretender, and maybe even trash column. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm putting them in the trash column as
Yeah,
well.
100%.
Their defense is decent. It's pretty good, but their
All right.
quarterback terrible.
Yep.
They have some. They're almost like a poor man San Francisco. The
Yeah.
roster around the quarterback is pretty good, but their division is actually decent that they have to play in as far as the NFC goes.
Yep.
And those first 2 games, I mean, they almost lost to Arizona at home.
And
I
the
mean,
Broncos. Is that who they
oh,
faced last
God
week?
help
They
me.
almost. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So they had to make a major comeback. And the Broncos are reeling, so I think they're
Yep.
actually trash.
All right. Next up is the Dallas Cowboys. I think even though the Eagles went to the Super Bowl last year, they're the best team in this division. They're the most well-rounded team. And by them, I mean the Cowboys. So I'm picking the Cowboys, and I think they're going to be a Super Bowl contender with their defense, with Parsons, Diggs, and the offensive line, and the weapons they have. I think they're Super Bowl contenders.
I'm putting them in a division contender. Yeah, I think they're the third team in the conference. I just don't think they have what it takes to beat the Eagles or San Francisco in the NFC Championship game if it comes down to that. Um, their defense, I think, is a little overrated right now. Parsons is a game wrecker, but if teams find a way to neutral gets injured, I think they fall off a cliff defensively.
Yeah.
And, you know, Dak just,
Don't
I don't
believe in them,
know.
huh?
He's just he's good. There's times he's really good. He just never can put it together for a full season, all the way to the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. So, no, division
All right.
contender.
All right. I'll move on to our first and only AFC team. Is that accurate? Must be,
No,
unless I
the
missed something.
Ravens.
Oh, the Ravens. Oh, my bad. So yeah, Dolphins. I think they're a division contender. I do not think they're a Super Bowl contender. I think we gave them a really good game, and I don't think we're that great of a team. So I think the Dolphins are division.
Yeah, I feel like they're a wild card team.
I think the
Not just for
Buffalo
the
Bills
fact
are
that
that
they
much better.
play with the Buff. I think feel like the Buffalo Bills are better. I Miami's defense. I mean, not impressed. I thought they were terrible in week one, and I think the only reason why they won that last game and is because the Patriots offensive line is just
Yes.
it's just so JV right now and so disgusted. So their defense I think is just not good at all. I think it's in the bottom of the league. The offense, it is really good, but I just put them as a
Yep.
wild card team. They're not beating on Buffalo. That's all there is to it.
All right. In the Eagles, I don't think the Eagles are Super Bowl contenders. I think they're a division contender. We gave them a really freaking good game. And they had a kind of a hard time with the Vikings. Both teams that they've beat so far are now 2-0. I know they had a part in that, half the part in that, but I think they're division contenders. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they're Super Bowl contenders again by default. That just not good. I mean, someone's going to be
Yeah,
there at the end.
yeah.
So I mean, basically, to me, it boils down to who's better, Dallas or Philly, and I'm taking Philly.
All
So
right, all right. I'll give it to
you
you.
gotta
I'll
you
give it
gotta
to you.
have you gotta have two Super Bowl
All right,
contenders. You have to. You have to
all
have
right.
two teams in the conference finals fighting for the Super Bowl.
I'm giving
So
you seniority on these. All right. If there's a split, I'm tie goes to the old bull. Okay. All right. Next
damn
up,
right.
we had the Falcons. It's the second team in that conference. Um, I think trash. Desmond Ritter's not good. They're going nowhere. What do you think? We can keep it short. I don't know.
Loses right in
Losers.
the
I
trash
like it.
bucket.
Trash
Yeah,
bucket. All right.
right in the map bucket. Right in the map bucket. Go. God.
Right in my dad's 90 50 10 bucket. That's where that's where he gets all of his 90 50
Low
10s.
blow.
We'll get there
Wow.
later.
Respect your elders. Wow. I'm coming up to Mass this weekend, so
Yeah.
we'll say that to my face. We'll see. We'll see.
Tomorrow.
Getting right over the knee.
So the Baltimore Ravens, I think they're a division contender, borderline Super Bowl contender. I think they're better than the Bengals. I don't see the Bengals. I'll say division.
Yeah, I'm going with division contender too. I think there's always this stereotype when it comes to the Ravens. People automatically assume they have a good defense because they're the Ravens, and they really don't.
No,
So our offense is good. Lamar Jackson's awesome.
I
God, I
freaking
was
love
like,
Lamar Jackson.
pray,
Yeah.
I was praying to baby Jesus that he somehow came to us, but didn't happen. And yeah, but that defense is it's like because people think they're the Ravens, they automatically have a good defense, and they don't.
All right, so we have two of these teams on here already. So last up is the Saints. It only makes sense to make them the division contender because we got a pretender, trash, and then we don't even want to talk about the Panthers. So I think the Saints, by default, because they're in such a dog water division, end up here. Do you agree?
No, I refuse. I'm putting him in the wild card contender team, and I don't. That's like one of those things where,
Yeah,
I hope when no one's in the stadium, they just collapse all of them because they're completely useless and not worth anybody's
yeah.
time.
Just
So I'm putting him in
yeah.
the wild card division.
That whole division can go to the Bermuda Triangle for all what we care. So
Oh God, yeah.
that's the 2-0 rankings tier list. So we're gonna go back to this view while I get the next thing set up. All right, here we go. 0-2 teams. We're gonna make this short and sweet because there's gonna be a lot in that bottom column there. Right away, the Bears, Dad, trash. Justin Fields is horrendous. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah. Put him in that. We need an extra bag here. Well, we're gonna need some bags here. Get him
Yeah.
out.
Yep. All right, moving on to the Bengals, probably the team that deserves the most attention, maybe. I think they're a wild card team. I don't think they're gonna end the season better than the Ravens. What do you think?
I actually still have him as a Super Bowl contender.
Wow.
They're
All right,
just,
can
yep.
we split the
They,
difference and make them division contenders?
nope,
No? Okay. You all
nope.
right,
Keep
everybody.
the old defer to the old man. That's the way it
Okay.
goes.
All right. I'll
No,
remember this later in
you
the
putting your
season
two
when they don't
cents
make the
in.
playoff.
Yeah, I know you kids keep the receipts. I know. Yeah, trust me. You're already doing it with the stupid 90-50-10. Go ahead.
All right, the Broncos, Russ, old form
Yeah,
or trash?
yeah. I, I don't know why you're dangling it up there.
Recycle bin.
No, I'm putting him in the pretender. I do think they're going to get their crap together. Having you know, Russell Wilson, he can't be that bad all year, and then Peyton at coach. I think they're going to figure out enough to at least get around 7 wins. Not complete
Okay.
trash, but you know, you know, maybe within the wild
Yeah.
card hunt with like 3 games left before they're eliminated. So
It's tough. I won't go too much into it, but I think Peyton's a gamer. We saw it with the whole bounty gate. He might be trying to tank this year, get as many losses as he can to get his quarterback in. So he might. I'm being serious, and that would be honestly the best move for that franchise because they're in a rough spot.
they
All
might not
right,
have their first round pick, Matt, because they gave it up for Russell Wilson. I don't even know if they have their
Rick,
first
you're
round pick
right.
next year.
You're
But
right.
anyway,
All right.
but
I'm glad I'm not
but
a Broncos
anyway,
fan.
go ahead.
All right. I think the Chargers are
Yeah.
a wild card team. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I do just because they're so loaded with talent on offense. So put them there. I mean, they have those good defensive ends, but they just haven't come through yet. So I don't know.
Yep.
Max might be a shell of himself, and Bose is still good. JC Jackson, it looks like
Yep.
I've watched him. Man, it
Yep.
looks like he took his bag of cash and just went and sat on the couch and put his legs up. So I
Yep.
don't know. We'll see.
Well, here's another set of 52 people who probably should be sitting on the couch is the Panthers. I mean, that Burns guy is a wasted talent. Trash.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me fluff out another trash bag here. Dump
All right.
that
I'm
in there.
saving this one for the end. We're gonna go right to the Texans. C.J. Stroud, new guy. I think they're down here. What do you think, Dad?
Yeah, I gotta stop at Walmart, pick up more trash bags, put them in there.
Yeah, Worcester trash bags, $5, I think.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah,
and
guess what we don't have in Florida? That
yeah,
ridiculousness. But go ahead.
yeah, and now we have the Minnesota Vikings. I think
Complete
I
fluke last year. That record. Ugh.
you think they're a pretender, or do you think they're a wild card team in that
Complete
conference? Remember?
pretenders. I know.
Okay,
Complete pretenders.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
you
they're
don't.
they're gonna bottom out this year. They got so lucky last year. So many things fell into play for them to get that record. They're phonies.
All right, Dad. Here we go. Lead with your heart here. Lead with your heart here. I think we're a wild card team. What do you land on here?
Oh, I mean, that's how I started the season. And there's been so many encouraging signs. It's like, do I take a step back? Well, no, because the way I see it is they're going to be in the same boat as I predicted. I thought they were going to be 1-2 to start the year. I still think that's going to happen. So I'm sticking with my original prediction, wild card team for now.
Wild card team. Yeah. Some injuries around the league have
Well,
definitely helped that out. So that is our 0-2 tier list for the NFL teams. We still got a Super Bowl contender, so watch out for the Bengals late in the year. Um, source my dad. So now we're gonna
mhm.
move on to number 3, and we kind of alluded to that a little bit as we talked about the Dolphins and and everything. So right off the bat, I know we you mentioned it was a disappointment, and it definitely was frustrating. And like you said, it was by inches, but it seems like it's our status quo as the Patriots this year. Fall behind by 2 touchdowns, claw your way back, look really close at the end. We did a lot the Cam Newton year as well, right? Just be at on their side of the field, down by 7, down by 3, and just not be able to finish it. It is incredibly disappointing. Our offensive line is horrendous. I think Mac continues to be a bright spot for this team, though, and I think our secondary is pretty impressive considering the amount of pieces we're missing. Jonathan Jones, Jack Jones. Um, I believe we have a lot of wins in our future with this team. Um, I think I think we're going to be okay. I know it did suck that last game, um, but I think the Patriots are going to be a problem this year, especially as Juju gets more in with the offense. I think he's caught 16 of his 19 targets. Our tight ends look great. I don't want to say this game was another moral victory, but in my mind, this is a tough team. The Dolphins. Last week was a tough team. Not many people have faced two very competitive teams so far this season, and we've been basically within one score of each of them. So I think I'm not that sad about this game, and that's why it doesn't make me sick talking about it, because usually it would. So what do you got, Dad? What are your thoughts? Oh wait, and before that, all right. So I do have one bright spot to share, and that's Christian Gonzalez. He was my surprise for last week, and we're not doing the surprise this week, but he's a pleasant surprise this week. He stepped up against Tyreek Hill, going across the field. Tyreek Hill actually had some really kind words to say about him and what he thinks he will mean for the organization going forward, being a very big part of our and some good players. So if you watch on our all 22, tracks the ball really well, goes up high, points it right in front of what my dad considers to be the best wide receiver in the league. So super excited about Christian Gonzalez in that game. So back to you, Dad. What do you think about this past game?
I mean, we have something here. And, too bad we weren't doing our podcast back in the draft because I texted my son and my best friend Rich and said, I want Gonzalez. That's the guy I want. Sure enough, that's who they got. He's good. He's going to be really good. He's like a more athletic kind of Revis type of player. Not quite. I don't think he's going to be the cover guy, but I think he's going to be in that class with Ty Law, Revis. He may not be as physical, but he's going to be up there when his career is said and done. He's already shown enough. I mean, 2 games. He was on an island that first game against those 2 receivers and held his own. He wasn't really on an island against Hill, but the broadcast showed a clip where he was covering Hill quite a bit, and he had some safety help deep, but he was basically responsible for covering Hill within the first like 25 yards, and he was doing a great job of it. Now it's easier to cover someone when you don't have to worry about him streaking 50 yards, but so many encouraging signs. I'm with you on that. We definitely agree on that one, Matt. That kid. He's going to be first team All Pro by the time he
At
hits his
some
third
point in his
year.
career. Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
So anything else on that game, Dad?
Yeah, I mean the Miami game, it kind of reminded me of 2007 Super Bowl. You go back, you like wonder how the heck did we lose this game? And I will go back and I watch every drive, and it was like something small would happen on every Patriots offensive drive that would just stall them. It was just going fine, then something like it just a penalty,
A
uh,
sack.
a, a sack, a couple incomplete passes in a row that should have been complete. Like we're cruising, we're moving, and then all of a sudden, just something trips them up, and you're like, well, that's how they got 14 points. That's exactly how, because
Hmm.
they could not put together a few good plays in a row. They just could not do it, and it's frustrating because if Booty's foot is one more inch to the ground and touches, we probably win that game. If that ridiculous replay reversal, I mean, if Cole
Oh,
Strange one more inch further, that game goes on. Maybe we tie it and go in overtime and win. I think that the league had no business reversing that. Those referees, it's supposed to only be absolute positive, clear, and obvious, and that was not. That's not something I would bet my life on. And that was just garbage. But
Yep. No, the
I'm
refs
done
had
with
it.
that stupid game.
That
Yeah.
was a rough game for us. And just like you said, game of inches for us, or season of inches so far. All right, so we're going to move on to number 3, and we're going to talk about this coming week. Is this next game a must win? I think it certainly is. We don't know uh, how everything's going to flesh out going forward, injuries and everything like that. We need to get this win, give our guys a little bit of something to root for, the guys who are injured, something to pull back from because we do have a lot of injuries. And if we start off the season 0-3, who are we facing the next week, the following week?
Dallas at
Oh my
Dallas.
gosh. Yeah, there's a good chance we start off 0-4 before we get possibly Thornton back and Jack Jones. And I don't think there'll be enough to dig us out of that hole. So it'd be great to get a win. We need to get a win. This team sucks. The Jets suck. They have a solid defense, secondary, some really good linebackers. So it will be difficult for us to score. But our defense has to step up and do their thing. So I think this next week is a big, big indication of our season. And if we lose next week, there's a really good chance that this podcast starts talking about the Celtics a little bit more in the next few
Definitely.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dad, what do you
Yeah.
got?
It is absolutely a must win. I know it's only week 3. You just you don't start 0-3 and come back and make the playoffs. I don't care if there's 17 games in the year. I don't care if the middle of the Patriots schedule is super soft because they're probably going to end up losing one of those games. They're going to have one, and there's no margin for error. They have to win this game, and I feel like they are going to win this game. Zach Wilson's going to be seeing ghosts again, and we are in that dude's kitchen so bad. They are going to try to protect him. You watch it. They're not going to let him throw downfield. A lot of stuff's going to be quick. If I was Belichick, I would have that defense packed in there, make him beat you deep, keep that pass rush because their offensive line isn't good either. So I think they do pull this one off this week, and we're back to 1-2 where we thought we would have been to start the year. Because we thought that we were going to win the Miami game at home, and clean slate. Seen a lot of promising things. Get some players back that are crucial for the rest of the year, and I think we still have a shot at that wild card.
Yeah, I can dig it. I think we're on the same page there. Next up is number 4, and we're going to go to our bets. Now, our betting guru did have a tough Sunday last week, but so far he's 3-1 in bets given to us. And this week he's coming in with another guaranteed bet. He has the Green Bay Packers -2 at home over the Saints. It's a tough defense for the Saints, but the Green Bay's offense has been humming. They're playing in Lambeau. And Derek Carr and all of his little buddies are going to have to go outside for once this season. I don't know if they've played 2 dome games
Yeah.
this year, but I know their
I
last
think they
game was in a
played
dome.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
got to get out in the elements. I think Green Bay is kind of nice this time of year, but I do believe in the Green Bay Packers. I believe in our betting guru. So if you are looking for a bet this weekend, Green Bay Packers -2 is where you
I'll
probably
wait
want
for
to
that.
land. Anything to say about those bets, Dad, before we move on?
Oh. Did he have a second one for us? Not this week?
Um, what do you
No
like?
second one? Okay.
No, so okay, so I'll edit. So he did have a very confusing one for me tonight, but he said that it's a tough one. His one for tonight or tomorrow night. So okay, I'll reset. He did have one tough one for tomorrow night, and I don't fully understand what it means, but he said it's a 7-point tease to get the 49ers -3 under 51.5. But that's really in-depth gambling. That's what he told me. I don't know what the frick that means, but that's what
No,
he's
it's a
got for tomorrow.
tease. You have to win both things, but you get to sway the points. So if you take San Fran, you have to give up. You're only giving up 3 points
Okay,
as opposed to more points, and then the over under comes down to 7 points. You do have to clear both those hurdles, but yeah,
there you
I
go.
kind of like
Maybe we
that. So
have
he
a new
said he's
betting expert over here. My dad's been reading,
so he
obviously.
said take the under and San Fran. Okay.
Under and San Fran -3, 7-point tees. So that's Will Good Basement Bets. So if you're looking for some bets, if I have this out before tomorrow night, you'll have that. So yeah, we'll move on to number 5. Number 5 is our, my favorite segment, and I'm sure my dad's favorite as well. This is our 90, 50,
A waste
10.
of time.
Yeah.
Just sign off. It's a waste of time.
And real quick, we'll go over how last week went, and it really didn't go too well because again, we both had kind of high hopes for that game. So our 90, 50, 10s were kind of shooting for the stars here. But My 90 was Mac 250 and 2 touchdowns. He was not able to make that happen, but was kind of close. So I missed out there. My dad had us rushing over for 150 yards, but we sucked so bad in rushing. It was embarrassing how bad we did in comparison, but that's probably attributed to that offensive line my dad is ripped on, and rightfully so. My 50, despite my dad's berating and exaggeration at my exasperation, I should say.
My 10% thing happening is that the Patriots hold Tyreek Hill to under
Okay.
100 yards. That is
Oh,
my
no faith.
10%. I don't see it happen. He's getting at least 100 yards. You will see.
50. Tyreek Hill was held well under 100 yards. I should have said under 50 yards because that's how much our defense locked him down, and our young star, Christian Gonzalez, Peppers, everybody who had to get involved got involved and knocked that little jerk down. So I'm very excited about that. My dad's 50 was in no interceptions for Mac Jones. Yeah, that Devontae Parker getting bullied out of a ball ruined that for my dad. I think my dad kind of deserves that one. I don't think that's Mac's fault. Just like the Juju tip. I'm sorry, the Bourne tip. And then we had the 10 for me was two interceptions. I was close, but we only got one there. And then the 10 for my dad was the greatest receiver of all time, basically, according to my dad last week. There's no way this would happen, but him going under 100 yards. And sure enough, my dad was actually right there. So um, that's our 90, 50, 10 for last week. For this week, my 90 is that we are going to have 2 interceptions on the quarterback for the Jets and Zach Wilson. I'm blanking on his name. What's your 90, Dad?
My 90 is a two-parter. It's the Patriots win, and the O line gives us actual hope. I think Trent Brown's going to be back. Cole Strange and Owenu will have a game under their belt because they were complete garbage. Andrews was embarrassed. He bounces back. I'm hoping they boot Anderson out at right tackle. He was so bad last game. Give that low kid a try there. He wasn't as bad as some people are saying. Put him on the right, let him do it. I think the O line's going to give us hope, and I think the Patriots 90% chance they win this game because it is a must win. The season's on the line.
Wow. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's I think there for me, my 50% chance is that we are going to have a Mac Jones 200-yard, 2 touchdown game. I think this is
You just completely lagged out,
okay.
and we couldn't hear you.
That's fine. I could edit that. All right. So
Okay.
my 50, yeah. So my 50 for this game is we're gonna have a Mac Jones 200-yard, 2 touchdown game. That secondary is really tough. I know you think the offensive line is going to bounce back, but they might be one of the best overall defensive lines in the league, and their linebacking core is also excellent. So I think we can have it. We will have a tough time, but I think our defense puts us in some good field position. So I think Mac Jones 200 with 2 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. What do you got?
All right. So my 50% is I feel after the benching last week and the heat he took, I feel like, and also with Juju McSchuster, he's just not having much of an impact. My 50% is Pop Douglas gets 5+ catches,
Oh,
five
I
catches
like it.
plus. I think he's gonna have a big game. Absolutely.
Got to get that kid in there because he gets open, and we don't really have anyone who
Oh,
gets freaking open. So I
started
like it.
out great, and then that fumble was not his fault. I mean, what are you gonna do? The guy, he never saw him coming, and he had a full-fledged punch at the ball. I mean, no one's holding on to that ball there.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
oh well.
Yep. All right. So next up, my 10%. So my 10%, I'm gonna stick with just excitement and optimism here. I'm gonna say we force 4 turnovers. I think Zach Wilson just poops his pants on the field. We get a couple fumbles, maybe 3 interceptions. I think he might have threw 3 interceptions against Dallas. I think we really light it up and we have fun this game. I think 4 turnovers forced by the Patriots. My 10%.
Why are you sweating that? Well, it's not because you were watching cops. That's for sure. It's because your take sucks. All right.
Yeah. What
It's
you
supposed to
think
be
it's a
10%.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
Percent. It's supposed to be 10%. I think there's
you
a
think
higher
that's like
chance
a
to get
oh
four turnovers.
really?
They
Okay.
they own him. they own him. So
Yeah.
I think two or three turnovers is very much in the wind.
Yeah,
And
but it's 4.
then you're looking at another fumble because they're going to be playing from behind. So 10%, I don't know.
Okay,
I don't think that's much
listen,
of a risk.
you don't have to
Yeah.
yell at me so much, okay? Why are you yelling? All right.
I
Why are
'cause
we
I
yelling?
can, 'cause
I don't know why
my
we're
money.
Loud noises! All right, everyone relax.
Yeah. Thanks, Brick.
No.
So what's your 10%?
Yes. The defense gets a shutout, an actual shutout, old school, 0 points on the board shutout.
I
I
like
do
it.
think there's a slight chance of that. Yes.
Yeah, I think it might actually be higher than a 10% chance. So
Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you should yell at me. I don't know.
Yeah. So I
You
gotta
get
do
a
some
fresh one
editing.
though. Don't do it.
I gotta do some editing. Hope this podcast was, somewhere in the mid-20s. We did have a lot of mistakes. We're doing this on a Wednesday, so shorter week for us. We suffer too, just like these NFL players who play on a short Thursday. But I hope everybody enjoyed it. Dad, do you have any final thoughts for our crowd here?
No. See my friends up in Massachusetts this weekend. Go
All right,
Patriots.
everybody. Go Pats. I'll catch everybody later.